contour down my nose, and I always do the tip of my nose.
Bake your under eye area. You are making that bitch bulletproof.
She is ready. She is beat.
I think if I was someone without any kind of knowledge of makeup and I saw Instagram makeup, I would probably be like, whoa, that's a lot.
Drag and the beauty industry have always influenced each other. Beauty industry says natural makeup is in trend. Drag says no, slather on the pancake makeup.
Did you try to dismiss me? You thought I was history, but now you gotta deal with me.
They call it like selfie makeup. It's like you're basically doing drag whether you know it or not.
Right. I'm back with a vengeance. Got my crew in attendance. Have I got your attention?
The lip liners and the contouring and the white dot on the nose, that is all influenced by drag. I mean, where else would it come from, you know? Clowns?
Embrace us, because if you don't, RuPaul's gonna be the only person that gets credit for an industry that you don't have a part in.
A lot of times our ideas about what gender means are very surface. I'm masculine because I just am that way. I just look that way. That's what my body is. And what drag, especially drag makeup, plays with is the actual constructedness of those things. The ability to make yourself look masculine or make yourself look feminine draws a question in people's minds about how real or natural those things ever are, because each and every one of us goes through decisions and steps in styling ourselves every morning to push ourselves in whatever direction we want to be perceived in. And drag just pushes that idea so far to an extreme that it makes natural or essential completely impossible. And I love that. There's so many options within drag, and all of them are over the top, as we all should be.
In drag, there is so many different types of drag. They all have this common denominator, is that they're all these underground kids that, you know, weren't afraid to express themselves in this world that allow them to, where all these influences are impacting the world now.
You see it in fashion, you see it everywhere, and everyone pulls inspiration from everyone at the end of the day.
Sure.
We all do, but it's great to acknowledge where it came from.
A lot of them kind of attribute it to Kim Kardashian and the artists that worked on Kim Kardashian that did the same technique, that were aware of those trends. So it's really interesting to be like, hey, this has actually been around for decades.
Back then, I called the makeup 1992. What do I mean by that? Back then, the queens would put on a little bit of makeup, foundation, lipstick, a little bit of blush, a little bit of highlighter, lashes.
We had to wear makeup to get into clubs back then, and also it was the cheapest way to be different. So I used to buy a red lipstick and put it around my eye, or buy colored pencil and draw a line across the face. It was all about being different and doing it cheap.
There was a lot of naivete about drag makeup back then, just because, it was sort of unexplored territory for a lot of people that were just getting into drag. So a lot of us who were just starting would rely on store-bought, drugstore makeup.
Watching queens over the years, performing with them, you tend to sneak a look at when they're doing their makeup. You notice they do something that you've never done, so you try it on yourself and see if it works. It might not.
This other queen that I worked with named Yasmin, I wanted to get into the drag section. She goes, she's gonna do half of my face and I'm gonna do the other half. So I had a piece of paper and I was writing down notes, because there was no instructions back then, so I needed to write down the notes to try to help me remember what I needed to do. It was atrocious. Atrocious. I would get an F for effort.
Each drag artist has their own way of transforming their face, and it's so interesting to see because it's so much more than just adding color to your face as it is. It's about restructuring your face into something new, and I love watching other people do it.
When you get into drag, you're wearing a mask. I can hide behind that and become a sort of character. And it turns out the character is just who I am on the inside, but I'm scared to be. I've always been very shy, but pour some liquor down my throat, put some makeup on my face, and I hit the stage.
Some of the drag queens have like such a specific style that they've pulled from out, like it's their identity,
Right.
like Divine. Like seeing that like
Divine.
amazing, like
Wow.
exaggerated makeup years later in The Little Mermaid, how like she had influenced the character Ursula.
You'll have your looks, your pretty face.
You say you wanna go where the lights are flashing. I make it happen. You say you want a man that's always packing.
I do damage.
I was there, right smack dab in the middle, as drag morphed from this underground art form into this pop culture phenomena. It was very interesting to be there because drag all of a sudden took this like major turn over the course of just several years. Drag became very popular like on daytime TV talk shows and as plot lines in sitcoms, and they were used in music videos, etc. And so there was just all this interest in drag collectively. I mean, drag has always been a really fun and, you know, exciting genre that just really was very marginalized. And so when drag did start becoming popular in the 90s, I was the first person to say, oh yeah, this isn't a trend, this is here forever. And then when it did fade, it was like, haha, I was wrong. There were kind of a couple factors for the New York scene. Mayor Giuliani cracked down hard on the nightlife, and so that killed a lot of the drag scene. But at the same time, the media kind of lost interest. And there was a whole different era. It wasn't like you could go to the internet and say, well, if, you know, mainstream media doesn't want us anymore, we can start our own websites. We were totally dependent upon the, you know, the powers that be to sort of like, you know, declare if drag was popular or not. And so they treated it as a trend and they lost interest. And so the whole drag kind of phenomena went on hiatus. Even RuPaul, who had become a star, the big star out of that era, her career went on hiatus. And so it wasn't until really when Ru again started RuPaul's Drag Race that drag started picking up again and has become, you know, even much more popular than it was before.
Back in the early days, I think we were just very happy that we had somebody like RuPaul that was doing her makeup. We weren't trying to look like her back then. We're like, bitch, she do her, we do us. And then 10 years ago, out of the clear blue, RuPaul came back with a new face, a new music video, a new attitude, and this new glammed up look that you just couldn't take your eyes off of it. And every time she showed up again on the camera, her face was looking fiercer than the last time. And we were like, damn. So everybody just started running out and started playing with the makeup, you know, trying to copy what she was doing on her face. One of the queens that literally made a mold for it was a queen from Drag Race called Raven. She came up with this face that every queen now started to copy. All of a sudden, it's like people are watching other queens online doing makeup to try to like copy some of their style and add it to them. And now it's 10 years in and we now have 1 million looks. You know, there's 1 million looks that launched 1 million ships.
When I moved to New York in 2007, in most cases, women were wearing very small jewelry pieces, very lightweight makeup and things like that. But now we've seen a progression, especially with social media and these shows, that is driving women to actually become more glamorous, to have eleganza, an eleganza extravaganza. So it's all about pulling out all the stops and just really increasing the amount of makeup that they wear and the looks that they put together.
I work a day job, retail, and I have some of the young ladies that I work with, you know, having, oh, will you show me where you get your big lashes? Will you show me how to put them on? And they're at work flapping their eyelashes.
Kim Kardashian's makeup artist, or at least the woman who was very influential in getting their first look established for the public, has said that she borrowed sort of contouring or learned about contouring from the drag world. If you watched, like, you know, some of those housewife shows, I mean, they've got more makeup on than drag queens.
The clients themselves, they've become more aware with all that's happening right now with social media and makeup. They've become more aware. So the girls, they're actually asking to be beat down. They want to be highlighted. They want to be contoured. So I tend to keep it on a low scale. They're in baby drag, I'll say. That's probably the best way that I could describe it. They want the eyes to pop, but they don't want the lips to play backseat to anything. They definitely want to see both eyes popping and lips sizzling, which again is total drag. Usually in makeup, you want to make one feature pop out, whereas drag is like, no, make it all pop. Make it all pop, sparkle, and shine.
Drags are performers. They sweat, they dance, they earn their money every night, and they have to like look fierce and they have to look like flawless. Every picture, every angle have to look great for the stage, the light.
The reason why we would do highlighting and contouring is because when you're on stage under bright lights, they have a tendency to actually blow out all of the features. So highlights pull things forward and contours push things back.
Drag queens like to do things bigger, brighter, and bolder, and the whole idea is to project all the way to the back.
That type of makeup translates to social media. What people want to look like is perfection at all times.
Like they call it like selfie makeup.
It's
It's like you're
the selfie
basically
makeup.
doing drag whether you know it or not.
Right.
I don't think that the drag community gets the credits that they deserve for the trends that are happening right now all over social media and all over the world with makeup.
Regular girls are now doing the highlighted cheeks. Regular girls are now doing the extra plumped up lips. Regular girls are now going out with their faces fully beat for the gods, as Laverne Cox would say. And you're like, where'd you get that from? You got that from watching. You got that from seeing it somewhere along the line.
I don't think that they even know that they got influenced. Maybe it's in their subconscious, right? Because the drag is so mainstream today that they see some pictures or videos or shows. In fashion, people like Peter Phillips and Pat McGrath and Val Garland, who are all inspired by drag. For them, it's much more about homage and taking their culture and then elevating them and doing something different.
There's that expression, high tide raises all ships. So even though the great majority of the money probably and the attention is going to RuPaul Drag Race queens, there's a general interest in drag. So it's every place from your local drag, corner bar to, television shows that are getting all this attention.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am your hostess with the mostest, Las Vegas. It's Saturday night. How are we feeling?
Drag in Vegas now, I mean, we have sold out brunches and we have our new supper club show and, it's so accepting here. And, you kind of have to thank RuPaul's Drag Race for bringing it to the mainstream like that. I mean, when I was growing up, you couldn't walk outside with makeup on. It was very, frowned upon and it was very, scary to, go to the bar and drag. But now we can paint at home and come here and drag and, it's just so free.
We went from having primarily a gay community to then expanding out to this mainstream audience and bringing them in.
RuPaul was the first ever drag queen to be in a MAC Viva Glam advertisement campaign in the 90s, and that was so impactful. That led to all the musics and TV shows, and today it's global. It's incredible.
DragCon because we are lovers of drag and lovers of glamour and lovers of beauty, inner beauty and outer beauty.
Yeah. Oh, we love doing makeup, like both of us. We love getting dressed up. We love doing the makeup. This is what we do on the weekends.
It's really cool to see that everyone is fully highlit and contoured down, so the way they look on the outside matches sometimes how they feel on the inside.
If you're able to be you, that inner person is trying to come out, and that's a form of drag. And like Bruce says, if you can't love yourself, how in the hell are you gonna love somebody else?
We want people's jaws to drop. And without drag queens, we wouldn't have known to do that.
With the rise of, YouTube makeup artists and people clearly being influenced by drag, it is a sign of changing times that there is acceptance in the world. Before, drag was taboo. And now it is acceptable and we're seeing it in mainstream. So I think it's a reflection of progress that society is making.
It is such an exciting time to be a drag performer, a drag queen. They're getting television slots, commercial slots, makeup tutorials. They are traveling the world doing solo shows and group shows and making money. When I started, there was none of that. You had one option, and that was to perform in a bar.
When I launched the Nico Panda Mac collection, I did a flash fashion show at Macy's. I had Aquaria and Naomi Smalls and the drag kid, Desmond is amazing. And to see them catwalking inside Macy's was incredible.
When people say that drag is more mainstream, what that really means is that young people in the middle of nowhere who don't have access to queer culture get to see and know and love drag. If I had had that experience as a little kid in the middle of Illinois, it would have changed my life. I thought I had invented cross-dressing because I kept it as something secret and almost as a source of shame. And to celebrate on such a big platform that exploring gender, being variant with your gender is a beautiful, positive, successful thing. I think that's a powerful message that every young person needs to hear.
One of my biggest experiences and highlights of this weekend is all the children.
Yes.
So any of the children that I've seen, you know, I'm like, hey, can I grab a picture with you? And they come dressed up, they're in drag, they're in costumes, and like Jay said, the parents are bringing them. Seeing the families come here and support, gay, straight, bi, it's amazing.
How do you feel about being here? Is it fun? She's really excited about meeting some of the drag queens.
I see young people really pushing themselves to have an authentic and even queer expression of gender. It's amazing that that's becoming more part of discussions within high schools, within families at home, and I think that drag has had a huge role in that, in shaping discussions, and just in introducing young people to the ideas of being non-binary or being trans. Drag has allowed queer people to be normal in mainstream society. And that's really powerful because we are. It may seem over the top and outlandish, but it's normal and healthy and it's a good thing. And so as that gets to be recognized as beautiful in its own way, I think we're gonna see a big increase in people's safety and happiness.
One of the best parts about doing drag makeup is the experience that you have and the bond that you make with the person who sits in your chair, whether that's even you putting the makeup on yourself.